Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Player Zone YouTube channel. Welcome back to our Champions League predictions. They did very, very well in match day 1 in terms of views and in terms of my predictions as well. So looking forward to getting into match week 2 predictions here. Obviously, a whole lot of games to get through, 18 of them, and a quick turnaround as well, just showing the new format and how much football we'll see from these top sides in European football. With that being said, ladies and gents, let's now get straight into our Champions League match day 2 predictions. Our first game is RB Salzburg, who take on Brest. And obviously Salzburg were not great against Sparta Prague in the first game of their Champions League group. However, they've kept 3 clean sheets since the first game in the Champions League. They're dealing with a few injuries, but I think defensively that's going to be their orientation here, even being at home versus a sort of basic or poor Brest side, who obviously got a great start beating Sturm Graz in the opening match day. You think Ajorque, the centre forward, he's going to be the key player for them in this game here. I expect a more defensive Salzburg performance with the injuries they've got and the form they've had defensively. They'll orientate defensively and try and get Brest on the counter-attack. But if Brest want to break through and win this game of football, I think Ajorque up top is going to be the man to do the job. I think it's going to be a tight game. Again, the home advantage will help Salzburg, but I think Brest get over the line for me. Despite their poor league form, I back them in this game here. I've got a 2-1 result for them. It's going to be a game of moments. If you can take those chances you have in front of goal, especially if you're at the Brest side, I think you can get a big result here away from home. Our next game sees VfB Stuttgart taking on Sparta Prague, and it's going to be a very, very intriguing game, this one here. We've seen the great form of VfB Stuttgart in recent weeks, that fantastic 5-1 victory over Borussia Dortmund in the league. Their home form has been fantastic, unbeaten in their last 18 home games, whilst Sparta Prague are actually unbeaten in 16 away games. So 2 teams that have great records considering the situation we have here in this game here. I like the look of Stuttgart. They've carried over some of that form from last season. Obviously, the key players are that sort of front crew. Enzo Milo, who's in fantastic form in terms of his dribbling, his driving play, the way he opens up the ground and his assists. Then there's Undav up top, always a clinical man. Demirovic potentially might get the start as a 2 up top here in the home game. Also likes of labelling on the flanks as well. It's a really, really dangerous, youthful front line that have started to click in recent weeks, and we saw some of their home performances have been clinical, and their pressing game is going to hurt Sparta Prague if they're not careful on the ball. They come off a tough loss to Sigma Olomouc on the weekend, however can cause danger on the counter-attack. That's what we saw in the opening day of the Champions League there. I think we Filip Panak at the back, the captain. Can he hold it down for this side? Can they keep VfB Stuttgart at arm's length and then try to counter-attack and get the better of them in that way? Because we know Stuttgart can be leaky at the back, can get stretched quite easily. So I think for Sparta Prague, sitting in, absorbing some pressure and trying to get a goal on the counter-attack will be the key for me. With that being said, I like the form of Stuttgart. I like their home performances, and I like a lot of the players in the final third there for me. I think they have it quite easy in this game. I've gone with a 3-0 win over Sparta Prague. Our next game is very intriguing. It's the battle of you never walk alone sides here as Borussia Dortmund take on Glasgow Celtic. Now, what a game this one is going to be. Dortmund coming off a fantastic start. Yes, they left it late, but it was a fantastic team performance to beat Club Brugge in their opening game. And again, I think it'll be the similar sort of players. Those dynamic front players like Jamie Bano, Gittins, Karim Adeyemi, can they continue to produce up top? Sekou Guirassy seemed to find a rich vein of form here in recent weeks. So these guys, they're going to be dangerous up top. Can Celtic deny these such dangerous dynamic players of football? That's why I think they might fall short, Celtic, in this game here. There's so much talent up top for Borussia Dortmund. And they look like a really dangerous side at this current point in time under Sahin. You look at Celtic, a fantastic start, their best ever performance in the Champions League in that massive win. I look at that midfield yet again, McGregor, Hatate, as well as Engels. All were fantastic in the opening Champions League game. Have all been pivotal in all the wins they've had in the league. Can they do it yet again here in this game versus a tough Borussia Dortmund side? We know how good Dortmund are all over the park, but possession is their game of football. Can these Celtic midfielders break that game up and cause them a bit of problems? We saw what Stuttgart did a few weeks ago. If you can press at Dortmund and press well, you can put them off guard, and sometimes you can lock the ball in your own half. So it'll be interesting to see how this game pans out. With that being said, Dortmund at home, I backed them in. Celtic I think will cause some problems, but they have enough quality to match this Dortmund side. Gone with a 3-1 Borussia Dortmund win, and in the end getting over the line quite comfortably. We are in the Netherlands for our next game. PSV take on Sporting Lisbon. PSV really not good in opening match day. You could say unfortunate in many regards, but Juve just got the better of them, dictated the game and got the line in a really convincing result. They look to bounce back here against a Sporting side. And I think this will be one of the most interesting games because both sides you'd think would be on the brink of trying to qualify as one of the top 16 teams to get to the next round. So it's an early insight into how these two teams are going to be looking come the later stages of this tournament. Both teams dominate their domestic league seasons, both flying in the league. But can they show it on the European continental stage here? Looking at PSV, I think the key for them, the key to victory, will be defensive solidity in midfield. Can the likes of Jeremy Shakhtar and Vermin control the pace, deny what Sporting want, which is possession, control of a game, and overwhelming pressure on the opposition? I think if PSV can have the bigger backbone, can deny a lot of what Sporting want to do. Both teams love to play in possession, but I think PSV have the ability to win this game by showing a bit of fight, showing a bit of character in midfield. That's their key. You look at Sporting, they've been fantastic. 7 clean sheets in their last 7 games. But I think it's the other end of the pitch in this game. Both teams can be capable of the ball. Both teams can defend okay. But I think for me, Vitor Gyökeres, Goncalves and also Trincao will be the difference makers. These guys are so dynamic in the final third, scoring goals, assisting for fun, working so well as a front three. They can break down this PSV side at will. They can show how good they've been in recent weeks. Then this is going to be one-way traffic. I'm going to back in Sporting Lisbon. I love what they did in match day 1. That 2-1 result really show what this side's about. Pressing football, freedom in the final third. And I think they'll get it done here versus PSV on the road. Going with a 2-1 Sporting Lisbon win. Don't get me wrong, it's going to be very interesting to see who comes out on top here between these two top sides from both the Netherlands and also Portugal. Slovan and Bratislava take on Man City in our next game here. Slovan Bratislava, obviously part of the park by Celtic. Never really had a chance. It probably was one of the most underwhelming teams in match day 1. Come up against the Man City side that have had a fair few draws. 3 in their last 4 games, missing Rodri, missing De Bruyne, and that character sort of slipping away. But what a chance for them to bounce back here. Yes, it's on the road versus Slovan and Bratislava, but with the quality that Man City got, you expect them to play them off the park. I think right now, in this game here, Erling Haaland finds his scoring boots and scores 4 or 5 for me. I've got Man City win this game 6-0, smashing Slovan Bratislava for 6. We move to Spain for our next game as Barcelona take on Young Boys. It's going to be an interesting game to see how Young Boys can hold on here because Barcelona had their first hiccup, their first roadblock on the weekend, losing their first game in the league. But they'll be looking to bounce back and bounce back strong in this game here. I look to this side and I look up top. Rafinha alongside Lewandowski and Lamine Yamal. They're the difference makers so far this season. They've been the players in fantastic form. And despite all the injuries behind them in the defence, goalkeeper, midfield, these 3 have been fabulous. They've stayed strong. They've been the identity of this team here. And I expect them to be so important to break down a low block that you expect the Young Boys to employ. Look at Young Boys, obviously an unfortunate way to go down the opening match day, 3-0 to Aston Villa. Showed a bit of character though. They play a lot more on the ball, a lot more possession, which I didn't expect for them. But going on the road versus a Barcelona side that are so capable in midfield, they have so much danger in the final third. I expect them to employ a low block. It's going to be a bit of a miracle if they don't concede a goal here in this game here, especially the form that Lewandowski and Lamine Yamal have been in. Look at Lapour in the holding midfield, Nias alongside him as well. These guys are going to have to be really pivotal, stop Barcelona's ball movement, prevent them moving the ball quickly in midfield and transitioning to forward areas. With that being said, though, I think I give Barcelona all the credit here. They'll get back onto winning ways here. Got a 4-0 win versus Young Boys in this game here. A really tough away day for the Young Boys. We move to Germany as Bayer Leverkusen take on AC Milan. Leverkusen coming off the back of a needed point on the weekend versus Bayern Munich and off the back of a fantastic opening match in the Champions League away at Feyenoord. So they go into this game here with a little bit of confidence, but I expect them to play a bit different to what we saw on the weekend versus Bayern Munich. More possession and more dangerous possession is what I expect in this game here. But with that being said, I think the importance will be the centre of the park and the wide plays. I'm looking at the fullbacks, Jeremy Frimpong, Alex Grimaldo, alongside Robert Andrich and Granit Xhaka. We know how good in recent weeks that AC Milan midfield has been, but we also know how dangerous like Rafa Leao alongside Christian Pulisic can be on the flanks. So as much of these fullbacks for Bayer Leverkusen like to get forward, they have to be very solid defensively to deny AC what they want to do is just play on the flanks. That's, for me, the key for them. They've turned it around in recent weeks. Obviously, the big win in the Milan derby, a poor start versus Liverpool in the Champions League, really getting outplayed from basically minute 1 there. They need a big result here to keep in touch with the main group here. I think, once again, I look to the wire players. Christian Pulisic, Rafa Leao, they've been the players making things happen. I look at Tammy Abraham up top as well. These are the key players. Get the ball to these guys' feet and they can make things happen. We know in recent weeks and the start of the season, Leverkusen haven't been as good defensively. It's a chance here for AC Milan to get a famous victory on the road. With that being said, a back Leverkusen in their attacking football is second to none. And if Robert Andrich and Granit Xhaka can dictate the pace of the game midfield, I can see this game going one way and one way only. That's Leverkusen winning it. Got them winning this game 3-0. They've got the quality, they're at home, and we know when their back's against the wall, they'll fight back strong. We move to Italy as Inter Milan take on Red Star Belgrade. Inter, a shakier start to the season, but look back to their best on the weekend. Captain Lautaro Martinez back in the goals, and I think, simply put, he is the key for them. I've said it a lot so far on the podcast and other videos that Inter have struggled, but once Lautaro Martinez get back in that goal-scoring form, when he finds the back of the net at will, this side looks so much better. We know what we can expect from the Inter Milan side, coming off a well-earned point on the road against Man City in match day 1, scoring a few more goals in recent weeks in the league. It seems that form has slightly turned around. I think, once again, like Hakan Çalhanoğlu in midfield, the creation in there, alongside Nicola Barella, but most importantly, Thuram and Lautaro Martinez at top. If they can score some goals, they can start getting more freedom in the final third. I think this team hits their straps and finally hits top form, which they haven't quite reached yet this season. For Red Star, I don't give them much of a chance away from home. They might cause some problems on the counter-attack. We know how much Inter like to throw the centre-backs forward and commit numbers forward, so the counter-attack will be the key for them. But I only see one win in this game here, and that is Inter Milan. Gone with a 3-1 result at the San Siro for the home side here. The biggest game of the match day is Arsenal and PSG. We're at the Emirates this one here. It's going to be a very intriguing game. Arsenal off the back of a great comeback on the weekend versus Leicester City, but the 0-0 away at Atalanta, and it's still a common problem for Arsenal, playing like a bit of an imposter in the top European league. They haven't been as much the Champions League in the last 10 years as they would have hoped, and I think they still feel like they play that way as the new kid on the block. They've got to play a bit more attacking for me. I'm looking to Bukayo Saka. I'm looking to Kai Havertz. Can these two have an impact on the game, which we see what they do in the Premier League? Equally so, they're going to need big performances from David Raya alongside Gabriel and also Saliba as that back three triangle at the back. PSG will cause problems. We know they have the attacking talent there. These guys are going to have to be solid enough defensively as well. For PSG, it's Barcola for me on the flank. Fantastic. We know Dembele has been left out for disciplinary issues in this side. So it's going to be a bit of a change-up in the final third there. But we know with Fabian Ruiz in midfield, the creation will be there for PSG. It's a matter of which side wants to take the initiative here. Who wants to be on the front foot? Who wants to be the dominant side? Whoever takes that role, takes that mantle for me, gets over the line this game here. Both teams were not at their best in the first match out of the Champions League, but PSG were the ones who got the positive result. However, in this game here, I think Arsenal got the result. Gone with a 2-0 close game. I think Arsenal's defensive backbone is the one that leads the way here, and they'll snatch 2 goals on the counter-attack. Shakhtar and Atalanta are our next game here. Shakhtar, a bit of a shakier start to start this campaign off the Champions League. A draw versus Bologna. Nothing to be too upset about, but we know the poor form of Bologna in the league, so I wish they could have got more from that. I think in this game here, attacking football will be the key. You're at home against a very underwhelming Atalanta side. So looking like Pedrinho and Traore up top. Can you find the back of the net? Can you stretch this Atalanta side that is so vulnerable at this current point in time? For Atalanta, yes, it was a very, very good draw versus Arsenal. They probably played their best game of the season in that game there, but they've been far from that in the league, really struggling. Some poor performances, sitting, I think, mid to lower table currently in Serie A and in desperate need of a bounce-back performance. It's going to be tough on the road versus Shakhtar, and I think you're going to look at the dynamic front two, Lookman and De Ketelaere as well. Can these players find some form? Can they find the back of the net? Give you something to hold on to. I think right now they just need a positive result. They just need a 1-0 win to get some confidence back into the side. I don't think it's going to happen. It's going to be a back and forth affair. Goals galore. Going with a 2-2 draw in this game here with both sides struggling defensively. We move back to Spain as Girona play Feyenoord. Both sides really, really heartbroken in match day 1. Girona heartbroken because they held on so well in that game versus PSG. And Feyenoord heartbroken how it's got torn apart at home to Bayer Leverkusen. Girona really struggled this season. We've seen the changes with a lot of players leaving and the squad depth not quite being there. They're going to be under performing side. They're going to have a few good games, a few poor games, and I feel like this game here, they'll fight their hardest, but they're not going to have enough quality to match the Feyenoord side for me. I look at that Feyenoord side. Yes, they were torn apart by Leverkusen, but we've seen they have the ability to show some great passages of play. There's some great moments in games. Against Leverkusen, they had some great moments. So far this season, have been few and far between. But I backed them in this game. I'm backing in Yuri and Timber and Hwang in midfield. Can these guys drive Feyenoord forward? Can they get at this Girona side that commits so many numbers forward? That's such an attacking side. And defensively looked really, really vulnerable so far this season. I think that's going to be the difference. The vulnerability of Girona and the need to win and the quality midfield that Feyenoord have. That'll be the difference maker for me. I've gone with a tough 1-0 win on the road for Feyenoord. Don't get me wrong, it's going to be a really, really tight game. Both teams desperate to get a win. But for me, the Dutch side get over the line here. We go to Portugal for our next game as Benfica host Atletico Madrid. Benfica coming off an important win away at Red Star in match day 1. An impressive win, something I didn't think they had in their locker, but they got the job done. I think yet again this game here at home in front of their fans, I looked at their key elder statesmen and the key names, the big player in this side here, the likes of Di Maria, Kochu, and also Otamendi. Can these players, can they lead the side forward? They're in different areas of the park, a forward, a defender and a midfielder. Can they win their duels? Can they control their areas of the park? And it's a very workmanlike Atletico side who got a very impressive win at home versus Leipzig in the opening match day, and then got a dramatic equaliser on the weekend versus their rivals, Real Madrid. So they come in this game with a lot of confidence, a lot of form. It depends how the team turns around though. A lot of effort, intensity went into that game versus Madrid. Can they bounce back here and continue to perform at a high level? I do back them in. It's a Simeone side. It's always well drilled. I think in the Champions League, you can't really bet against a Simeone side. They get their job done. They're working all over the park. Jimenez at the back, likes of Koke, Rodrigo de Paul, Gallagher in midfield. And then for me, the difference is up top. Antoine Griezmann, Sorloth, Alvarez. I think these guys are too good for this Benfica back line. Too much talent, too much quality, and they're all starting to find that connection in the final third. With that being said, I back Atletico in 2-0 for me to beat Benfica, but it's going to be a tough game nonetheless. We move to England for our next game as Liverpool host Bologna in what could be a very intriguing game here. Liverpool at home at Anfield on Champions League nights is historically a very, very tough place to go. They had a fantastic win in match day 1 versus Milan. Dominate them off the park in many regards and could have been 4 or 5 in that game there. They did really, really well. Looking at this game here, I think the midfield, Gravenberch, McAllister, Szoboszlai, can they break down the Bologna low block? They've implemented a new style of football this season, Bologna, which is less possession but more defensively orientated, deny the opposition what they can get chances for. I think for Liverpool, it's been a problem in recent weeks breaking down that low block. So had Nottingham Forest employed it. So looking to that midfield, they can break down that Bologna low block. For Bologna, it's ride your luck, all right? It's take the chance when you get the opportunity to. The likes of Posh, Lukumi, Bukema, the defenders, can they hold it down? Can they be strong enough defensively? Can they deny the tight areas which Liverpool like to work in? Can they stop Luis Diaz getting in behind? Can they stop Mohamed Salah cutting in onto that left foot there? These are the sort of questions you have to ask. And there's so much dynamism, there's so much creativity in the Liverpool side. But if you get the game going deeper, if you keep it 0-0 after half-time, that's when the Liverpool fans get a bit edgy, the nerves start to build and the pressure starts to build, and that's when Liverpool sort of crumble. And you can get them on the counter-attack. You use your likes of Ndoye up top. So I think for Bologna, ride this game out, ride your luck as much as possible and take it as late as you possibly can with defensive solidity. That is your avenue to try and get a result in this game here. With that being said, though, I back the Liverpool side in. Some great form of some of their key attacking players. I think they do it yet again here. 3-0 to beat Bologna for me, and a real dominant display at home here. We move to Germany. RB Leipzig take on Juventus in what could be arguably the most boring game of the weekend. Who would have thought I'd be saying that? But both these teams have been fantastic defensively. Juventus are not conceded in league football, only one in the Champions League. And Leipzig, surprisingly, have been really, really solid defensively this season and lost that attacking identity. With that being said, it came back on the weekend. Xavi Simons seems to be back in his best or better form in the last 2 games, creating assists, creating goals, and creating big moments, which I haven't seen from him so far this season. And I think that chance creation, attacking style of football will be key for Leipzig. They showed it in parts versus Atletico Madrid, but not enough. But I think because of the last few games, since that first Champions League game, they've found that attacking identity, they've found that spark. The likes of Openda, the likes of Sesko, Xavi Simons, Campbell, the likes, these going to be pivotal players in this game. You're at home, you've got to get in the front foot versus Juventus side that it's so defensively sound. For Juventus, yes, they've been very, very impressive amongst all the competitions in terms of defensively. They've got a great start in the Champions League versus PSV. Yildiz in the goals, Vlahovic in the goals recently in the league as well. But I'm just not confident as of yet with this side because of the weakness they have going forward. Yes, the goals have come in recent games, but they have struggled going forward in the opening few games in the Serie A. I think how defensive solid both sides are and how they don't like to give the opposition much. It's going to be a real moments game or take your chance type game. And I think because RB Leipzig are at home and because they've got the talent of the likes of Xavi Simons and Openda, I back them in. I've gone with a 1-0 Leipzig win. As I said, it's going to be a game of who can take their one moment or two moments because both teams are so solid defensively. You're not likely to get many chances in this game here. We move to France. For our next game as a loss to Lille take on Real Madrid. And it was a disappointing opening match day in the Champions League, getting beaten and outplayed by Sporting. But they found some goals in recent games, 6 in the last 2, and looking a bit more dangerous going forward. I look to the likes of the midfielders Agrova. I look to Jonathan David up top. Can these players find their best form like we've seen in the league in recent weeks? Because this Real Madrid side's gettable at the back. They're not as defensively solid as they were last season. So these players can get heavily involved and can stretch this back line. They've got the quality to break down this Real Madrid side and get a goal on the board. When you look at Real, Champions League is their format, it's their style of football. Yes, they've been not very convincing in the league, and yes, you're missing the likes of Thibaut Courtois. You might be missing the likes of Mbappe, Jude Bellingham as well. You've got the depth there for a reason. I think Endrick in this game could be a key player. Rodrigo, Vinicius as a full Brazilian front line could be really, really exciting to see. But I think for me, it's going to come down to the midfield maestros, the likes of Luka Modric, like Fede Valverde. For me, these are the players that will break this game apart and get it in Real Madrid's favour. It might be a slow start for Madrid, but once they get that first goal, the floodgates are open and they'll absolutely dominate Lille here. I've gone with a 4-1 Real Madrid win for me. I think they've got the talent, they've got the quality, and they need a bit of confidence that they can get it from this game here by beating Lille 4-1. We move to Austria as Sturm Graz take on Club Brugge. And Sturm Graz, tough loss to Brest in the opening match day and have gone as an interesting form since then. 1 win, 1 draw and 1 loss in the league. So hardly dominating the Austrian league and really inconsistent at this current point in time. They do come into this game and you look to the likes of the captain Stankovic alongside Keshvili to dictate the game midfield. I think they're the two key players I've highlighted in the last game as well. Can they create some big chances? Like we saw match day 1 there, big chance created was 5 or 6. So they do create opportunities. They've got to do it again here in this game versus a Club Brugge who were 15 minutes away from a good result versus Borussia Dortmund, but were blown apart in the final 15 minutes there. They've not won since that Champions League game right now. And I looked at some of their results. It hasn't been anywhere near convincing enough for me. So both sides are not really coming in great form. No one's really consistent enough, but I'm going off that sort of 75 minutes which we saw from Club Brugge against Borussia Dortmund in match day 1. And that's why I'm backing them in here. I'm backing them in 2-1 to beat Sturm Graz away from home. It's a tough old game to call. I don't know who really is going to come in with much confidence or form, but whoever leaves the game with a result will definitely go on a kick on in this Champions League. I'm sure about that. We move back to England now as Aston Villa take on Bayern Munich. Villa with a fantastic opening match day win away on the road, beating Young Boys. They'll take the confidence from that, and someone who's in fine form right now is Morgan Rogers. He's been pivotal to everything Aston Villa have been doing in recent weeks. His creativity and attacking work has been second to none. A goal on the weekend as well in the Premier League to back that up as well. So he's been fantastic and he'll be pivotal yet again for Aston Villa. But in this game here, they're going to have to be better defensively. A 2-2 on the road versus Ipswich in the Premier League on the weekend. It showed how they can be vulnerable. They can get got at, and we know the form currently of Bayern Munich. I'm looking at Pau Torres. I'm looking at Ensri Konsa. I'm looking to Diego Carlos. Can you be better defensively? Luca Digne, can you be more solid? Because right now you're too easy to get at. Teams are getting at you on the counter-attack, or on the weekend that run from Delap just exposed the whole Villa line. So can they be much better defensively against a very dangerous Bayern Munich side who have scored goals for fun? They were held for 1-1 on the weekend versus Leverkusen, but they've shown in all their games so far dominating possession, dominating chance created, and dominating shots on goal, and normally dominating the scoreline as well. The 9-1 last time out showed that how dangerous they can be. Once again, though, it's the front line, it's the creative players, Musiala, Michael Olise, alongside Harry Kane up there as well. And you've got Gnabry and Sane off the bench as well. It's unstoppable right now, Bayern Munich, and Vincent Kompany. I'm going to give my props to him. He's made a formidable side in League and Champions League football. I think they continue their great form here. There's not many sides in the world that could stop Bayern Munich right now. I don't think Aston Villa have much of a chance here at all. Going to Bayern Munich 4-1 win for me. They'll dominate them off the park and get another massive win in this great start to their season. Dinamo Zagreb and Monaco is our final game. Obviously, Zagreb were unfortunate on the other hand of a Bayern Munich smacking to start the season off, but they're not the only team this season that have struggled against Bayern Munich. For them, this game, their avenue to winning is going to come down to the main man. It's Bruno Petkovic up top, the striker. Can he find the back of the net? He's a goal-scoring machine normally. Can he make a difference in this game here? If they score a goal early, it could change the outlook of this game here. So I look to him to lead the line for this side. For Monaco, really, really good in the league right now. Equal top alongside PSG. Have been really, really solid defensively. And obviously got that great win against 10-men Barcelona in the match day 1, 2-1. You beat one of the best teams in European football. It goes a long way to giving you confidence to keep driving on in this Champions League campaign. It's going to be a tough game on the road, but I backed the side in. I like the front line. Really pacey players like Balogun, Mbolo, Ikaluche as well. I think these players are so dangerous, so unknown, especially some of the youthfulness of Ikaluche as well, that's going to get at this Dinamo Zagreb side, and they'll have enough talent in the final third to get over the line for me. I've gone with a 2-0 Monaco win and them to get over the line at a very tough away day, but in the end, they'll get the job done. With that being said, ladies and gents, that brings my prediction for the Champions League match day 2 to an end. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. I was trying to keep the video short, but it did drag on a little bit. But with that being said, let me know your favourite game from the match day. Let me know some of your predictions in the comment section down below, and who's a player who you reckon will shine in this match day of the Champions League. If you enjoyed the video, guys, please make sure to smash a like on it, subscribe to the Player Zone channel, and press that post notification bell. That would be much appreciated. And I hope you have a great day, guys. Enjoy the Champions League action in the middle of the week here, and I'll see you guys on the video very, very soon. See you next time, guys. See you later.